For 19 years, Ellen DeGeneres controlled every talk on her show. Guests came, laughed, and left. But some comedians didn't play along. Wanda Sykes joked that Ellen's tour felt like a weekend with merch. Cher looked her in the eye and said, "You're such a liar." Ellen built her image on kindness and fun. But when people used honest humor back at her, the cracks started to show. The fake laugh, the tight smile, the moments where she lost control. These were not friendly jokes. They were reality checks watched by millions online. From Wanda Sykes to Ricky Gervais, nobody held back. Stay until the end, because we'll break down every shocking moment that turned Ellen's stage into her own roast. This is what happens when comedy faces control, and comedy wins. For almost 20 years, Ellen's show followed a simple plan. She invited a celebrity guest. She asked light questions and kept the mood happy. They danced, laughed, and promoted their new movie or show. But not everyone played along. Ellen controlled the pace, the topics, and the tone of every talk. Nothing happened unless Ellen wanted it to. She used humor to stay in charge and make people laugh. Most guests smiled and followed her lead. But comedians are different. They don't come to sell a product. They come to be themselves. And when Ellen tried to tease or interrupt them, they fired back. The audience could feel the shift in the air. Ellen's power started to crack on her own stage. Her show ran from 2003 to 2022, with more than 3,000 episodes. She ruled every moment with control and comedy. But when a comedian sat on that couch, things changed fast. They turned her jokes right back at her. They made the crowd laugh at Ellen, not with her. For the first time, Ellen wasn't in control. And the very first to challenge her, Wanda Sykes, who walked on stage smiling and began roasting Ellen's show before Ellen even spoke. Something shifted forever that day. Wanda Sykes came on Ellen's show to talk about her comedy tour. Ellen smiled and gave her a tour jacket as a surprise gift. But instead of saying thank you, Wanda mocked the whole thing. The audience didn't see that coming. Ellen tried to make it sound like a big national tour. Wanda looked confused and said, "3 cities in California?" She laughed and added, "That's not a tour, Ellen. That's a weekend road trip." The crowd burst out laughing. Ellen tried to explain herself. She said she was busy filming Game of Games and could only visit 4 cities. Wanda didn't stop. She said, "4 cities? That's a weekend for me." Ellen's smile started to fade just a little. Even Ellen's fans could feel the awkward silence before the laughter returned. Earlier in the same show, Wanda roasted Ellen again. Ellen joked that Wanda should sit in first class while her kids fly in coach. Wanda stared and said, "What's wrong with you?" The crowd screamed. Wanda didn't need to be mean. She just told the truth. And this time, Ellen couldn't hide behind humor, because Wanda smiled the whole time and still won the moment. Next came Sean Hayes, who didn't smile at all. Sean Hayes walked onto Ellen's stage like he owned it. From the start, he acted like his cup of tea was more interesting than the host. Ellen smiled, tried to chat, and gave him her usual charm. But Sean wasn't playing along. She called him funny, smart, and talented. 3 compliments in 1 line. He didn't even say thank you. Instead, he said, "I got it." "Wait, what were you saying?" The crowd laughed nervously. Ellen's face froze for a moment. She tried again to lead the talk with her usual smooth transitions. That's when Sean hit her with pure sarcasm. He said, "Wow, those transitions are so seamless, Ellen." The audience gasped. They knew it wasn't a real compliment. Ellen fired back fast. She snapped, "How long was it before you got canceled the first time?" The crowd roared, but Sean didn't flinch. He just smiled like he'd already won the exchange. Ignoring Ellen was bold enough. But doing it on her own show, in front of millions, that was a power move only a comedian could pull off. Still, Sean was calm, because the next guest, Wendy Williams, went way further. She didn't just joke, she insulted Ellen's looks on live TV. Wendy Williams sat on Ellen's couch with a big smile. She looked calm, but she came ready to stir things up. Then she said, "Some people say Justin Bieber looks like you." The crowd laughed because the next comedian, Griffin, went behind Ellen's back and told the world in her book. Griffin wasn't afraid to say what others whispered behind the scenes. In her book, she wrote about a blonde talk show host who didn't help other female comedians in the industry. She didn't name Ellen, but everyone already knew who she meant. Months later, Kathy sat on Ellen's own couch. The tension was thick from the very start. Ellen smiled. Kathy smiled back. But the smiles didn't match the energy in the room. Kathy confirmed the rumor on live television. She said she and Joan Rivers used to check in with each other. They would ask, "Where are you with Ellen?" And the answer was always the same. "Still hates me." The audience laughed nervously, unsure if it was a joke or something real. Ellen tried to play it off, but her face gave it away. For a moment, her smile froze completely. Then Kathy hit her with the truth. She said, "There are so few female comics over 50 making a living. We should support each other." The words weren't funny. They were powerful. Kathy wasn't trying to be mean. She was being honest. She showed that Ellen's kindness image didn't always match her real actions. The laughter in the studio turned quiet. Everyone felt the awkward silence. And just when it couldn't get more uncomfortable, Clint Eastwood came on the show next. He picked up a baseball bat and smashed an Ellen piñata on live TV. The crowd laughed again, but this time, it felt like karma wearing a smile. Ellen once got a piñata from a fan that looked exactly like her. Instead of keeping it, she decided to play a prank. She hung it right outside Clint Eastwood's office as a joke. But Clint didn't laugh. He grabbed a baseball bat and he destroyed it. No hesitation, no smile, just pure focus. Each swing hit harder than the last. Ellen thought it would be funny, but watching Clint smash her face-shaped piñata didn't feel funny at all. It looked a little too natural and way too satisfying for the audience. Ellen showed the footage on her show, laughing nervously. Clint was on camera calling the piñata a dummy. The crowd laughed, but even Ellen seemed unsure if it was still a joke. For years, she had teased, scared, and pranked guests on her show. But this time, the joke turned back on her. The laughter felt different, sharper, almost like people were enjoying the payback. Ellen smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Because even when it's a joke, getting hit, even as a piñata, still hurts. And that was nothing compared to what Ricky Gervais said next. He didn't swing a bat, he swung words, and he hit harder. Ricky Gervais had been on Ellen's show many times. Every time he appeared, Ellen brought up the same topic, his drinking. She'd ask, "Why do you drink so much before interviews?" Ricky smiled and answered calmly, "If I didn't drink, I wouldn't be brave enough to say what I say." The crowd laughed, but under that laugh was truth. Ellen tried to make it sound like Ricky needed alcohol to be funny. Ricky flipped it around instantly. He said he needed alcohol to tolerate the questions. The message was clear. He wasn't nervous. He was bored. Ellen asked again, trying to joke her way out. "What hour do you start drinking before the show?" Ricky grinned. "Probably early." The show starts early. The audience cracked up. Ellen didn't. He wasn't playing along. He was turning the mirror back on her. When someone says they drink to survive the conversation, that's not humor. That's honesty wrapped in wit. Ricky later told Jimmy Fallon, "No one can shame me. I already know everything bad about myself." That's why Ellen couldn't control him. He didn't care about approval. He only cared about truth. And truth doesn't flinch, not even on live TV. But the next guest didn't need humor or alcohol to fight back. DeGeneres called Ellen. The room went quiet. Ellen tried to laugh it off. She said, "I was thinking in a different way." Cher didn't buy it. She leaned back, smiled, and said, "You're a liar." The audience it was about identity. DeGeneres built a 19-season empire on kindness and control. But when comedians pushed back, her mask slipped. The smiles froze. The laughs felt forced. Wanda mocked her fake generosity. Dakota caught her in a lie. Hassan made her face cultural truth. Each moment chipped at her perfect image. Then Dakota said, "You were invited. You just didn't come." The crowd shifted. Ellen's smile cracked. For once, the Queen of Comfort lost control. Ellen DeGeneres hosted 3,000 episodes and talked to thousands of guests. But the moments people remember most weren't the scripted ones. They were the real confrontations, when comedians refused to be managed. These weren't attacks. They were truth wrapped in humor. Ellen built her brand on control disguised as kindness. And when that control met authentic comedy, the comedy won. If you respect truthful comedians, hit subscribe. If this showed you a new side of Ellen, smash like and turn on notifications. Because we're exposing the moments TV tried to hide. Who roasted Ellen the hardest? Dakota, Wanda, or Hassan? Drop your pick below. And remember, comedy never lies. It only reveals what's already there.